Okay, here we are, lesson 54. Review of lessons 16 through 20. Okay, here are the review ideas for today. Number 1, I have no neutral thoughts. Neutral thoughts are impossible because all thoughts have power. They will either make a false world or lead me to the real one. But thoughts cannot be without effects. As the world I see arises from my thinking errors, so will the real world rise before my eyes as I let my errors be corrected. My thoughts can not be neither true nor false. They must be one or the other. What I see shows me what they are. So much easier again when we realize that real thoughts come from feeling awesome and fake thoughts come from being down here, lower on the vibrational scale. When we realize what this is really talking about is our thoughts create reality. What's it saying? My thoughts cannot be without effect. They'll either make a false world or a real one. And before I couldn't really get what they meant. Like, how do you get from your false thoughts to your real one? And now I realize how you do that. You do it based on mood. You gotta get up around joy, freedom, happiness, and connect to those God thoughts that'll bring us to the real world. So, number 2, I see no neutral things. What I see witnesses to what I think. My thoughts create my reality. If I did not think, I would not exist, because I'm consciousness, because life is thought. So this is an interesting point, that God is mind and the physical world is a result of the mental mind, consciousness, creative power of the mind. I think a lot of times we think the mind is a result of the physical reality, and that's how this world gets upside down, like this book talks about. Let me look on the world I see as the representation of my own state of mind. I know that my state of mind can change. And so I also know the world I see can change as well. My state of mind can change. It's about getting happy. Weird. Number 3, I am not alone in experiencing the effects of my seeing. If I have no private thoughts, I cannot see a private world. Even the mad idea of separation had to be shared before it could form the basis of the world I see. And how funny is that for us to think we're separate and not connected had to be something that was shared through that connection for us to actually believe it. And the fact that we all believe it is evidence of that connection. So I think a lot of us will say, like, I'm an empath, or I can pick up on people's energy. That's what I always said, at least. I thought I sort of picked up on people's moods based on energy. Now I'm realizing it is emotion, it is energy. There's physics, right? We know everything's vibrating. There's sound waves here. There's light waves. I'm swimming in a soup. So obviously emotion, I'm going to be vibrating and it's going to be coming off of me and I can pick up on that. But apparently we literally can pick up on each other's thoughts. And the more we focus with others, the more we join minds, because there really is only one mind, God's mind. And that's what this is getting at. There's an illusion of separateness, but when we understand how connected we are and we get in alignment with our inner sort of being, that Holy Spirit, that one God mind of consciousness, even though we're individual pieces of consciousness, we're still all very connected. And that's how we can affect others when our vibration gets high enough. So it says, even the mad idea of separation had to be shared before it could form the basis of the world I see. Yet that sharing was a sharing of nothing. I can also call upon my real thoughts, which share everything with everyone. As my thoughts of separation call to the separation thoughts of others, so my real thoughts awaken my real thoughts in them. So my real thoughts awaken the real thoughts in them. And the world my real thoughts show me will dawn on their sight as well as mine. So it was a sharing of nothing simply because it's not true. And so if I'm thinking I'm separate, even though I can live in the illusion of separateness, it really still doesn't exist. So at the end of the day, we didn't share much. But what I love adding to this, and I guess I'm trying to add, forgive me for interrupting the reading, but is that there's an emotional piece. It's emotion. So there's a mental piece and a thought piece, but it's the emotional piece of that's happening when I think those thoughts that evaluates or causes their power to either be, negative or positive, right? Creative or insane, as this book would say. There's no neutral thoughts, one or the other. And on this, which is so helpful, the tipping point is actually between boredom and contentment. So when you're getting from boredom into contentment, that's when you're starting to get into those power thoughts. Number 4, I'm not alone in experiencing the effects of my thoughts. I'm alone in nothing. Every thing I think or say or do teaches all the universe. A son of God cannot think or speak or act in vain. He cannot be alone in anything. It is therefore in my power to change every mind along with mine, for mine is the power of God. It's big. It's real big. It's pretty amazing. Number 5, I'm determined to see. Recognizing the shared nature of my thoughts, I am determined to see. I would look upon the witnesses that show me the thinking of the world has been changed. I would behold the proof that what has been done through me has enabled love to replace fear, laughter to replace tears, and abundance to replace loss. I would look upon the real world and let it teach me that my will and the will of God are one. I love that. That's really what I want. I want love to replace fear, laughter to replace tears, and abundance to replace loss. I've had a few people pass actually since I started this channel, and I'm really seeing through also the Esther and Abraham work, because Esther was married to Jerry passed, and she's still communicating with him. Now I've had people pass, and I realized that life doesn't end. It just changes form. So even the sense of loss is an illusion, or that the dead people are separate from the alive people. They're still here. If anything, they're more present and more a part of this game, because they're not so distracted by all this or buying into this idea of separation anymore. But the real leading edge, and why you're even watching this or attracted to this work, is like, I want to do miracles. At the end of the day, it's a course in miracles, which is saying aren't that big of a deal, because of this component. When you can take accountability for your own power, that you are literally a creator, that you are the son of God, that you were created in the image of God with the imaging device of God, and your thoughts are creating reality. There's a lot of awesome accountability in that. And when we can take that accountability and say, wow, I really do have the power to affect things, not through words, not by convincing people, but feeling better and thinking thoughts. When I feel better and am in alignment with God or source or whatever you want to call it, I do have the power to create change. And I want to look for those witnesses of that change around me. Not because I asked them to be, not because I talked them into it, but because I'm shifting, and the way I'm thinking is shifting, and the way I'm vibrating, things around me are shifting. And that's why you're watching this. That's why we're in this game. That's what this book talks about. And that it hasn't happened since this book has shown up shows that there's a piece missing. But I know that you are going to help me do this, and we're going to be evidence for each other of the shift that's happening. And we really are going to start to replace loss with abundance for everyone, thriving everywhere, tears with laughter, and fear with love. That's a vision I'm all about being behind. So it's our lesson for today. Bye-bye.